Automat in America. They had one ace left up their sleeve.
They were trying to leverage their real estate. They were in really dire straits, and they didn't have much of a choice. It wasn't so much of a secret weapon as it was a final attempt.
Land once occupied by the Automat had a value of $7.5 million in 1973.
They did franchises with some newer restaurants. Burger King, for example. They bought shares in Burger King stock. Apparently, they considered buying the company of Burger King.
By 1991, almost a century after it opened, most Automat locations were leased out to Burger King.
I have been reading about the Automat for around 10 years now. I love the Automat for what it represents and always will represent, even though it's gone. It was a brilliant idea. It really was.
Singapore's virtual restaurant Tiffin Labs is making waves for disrupting the food delivery industry.
We've been moving very fast. What we're doing is groundbreaking in a lot of ways.
For a company born out of a small country, Tiffin Labs has big ambitions.
We're already focused on building a network of kitchens that is global in nature, that really takes into account everything from our supply chain to R&D to data analytics to operations to execution.
One of the biggest challenges for us in terms of building a global F&B brand is no two countries are the same. The taste palettes between Singapore, New York, and London are definitely different. Even though we have a menu and recipe built out, there is always a degree of localization to meet the needs of the local taste palettes.
Although the recipes are slightly tweaked, imagine the idea of ordering your favorite chicken rice made in Singapore, but while overseas.
Yeah, because it's my favorite, and like for 4 years, I don't think I can take it.
For sure, I would order the chicken rice if I was stuck in France, maybe once a month.
I love my laksa, kway teow, chicken rice. I would crave and I'd order it.
Yeah. Are you joking? Of course. Finding chicken rice when you're in like North America is like, oh my God, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yes, if the prices were similar to Singapore. Otherwise, I would order pepper crab or chili crab.
Not only is Tiffin Labs exporting Singapore's local delicacies, but just like the Automat, Tiffin Labs is also using real estate to get a leg up over competitors.
We're partnering with real estate aggregators around the world with underutilized kitchen space. So I'm not sure real estate is our secret weapon, but it's an avenue for us to expand and grow.
Instead of building new kitchens, Tiffin Labs is renting existing kitchens in restaurants and catering firms, giving them access to thousands of kitchens by 2025, gaining them a foothold in over 30 countries, from San Francisco to Sydney. That's how they've scaled faster than any cloud kitchen and are planning to stay ahead of the competition. With Tiffin Labs poised to disrupt the restaurant industry not just locally, but globally as well, will this spell the end of the traditional restaurant?
We're going to see a lot of innovation there. And so I would say, if anything, this is going to drive better experiences in the restaurant, because we may be asking restaurants to do fewer things, fewer occasions. We're not all going to shut ourselves up in our homes. We're just going to have more options.
Humans are social creatures. We love being around other people. We also have to eat. It's one of those things we have to do every day, multiple times per day. And so we've kind of evolved over time to be like, this, we have to do this chore if you want to do it together, right? You have to eat, I have to eat. How about we get together and eat? It's part of our society. It's part of being human, getting together and eating.
Dining out has gone from restaurants reserved for just the wealthy to the fuss-free convenience of the Automat. Today, delivery-only cloud kitchens are setting a radical overhaul to the restaurant industry. But whatever gastronomical trend disruptions, one thing's for sure. You're probably not going to have to wait very long for your order.
Phenomenal. It's really the first Chinese tech titan to straddle this global world. There is this obsession of using image to record and pass on memories.
People freaked out. They were stunned that this was even a product that was possible to produce. It was, as a technological achievement, spectacular.
Ahead of their time, Tuesday on CNN.
Deep in the heart of the English countryside have long hidden some of the earliest films ever made in and of China.
Fascinating to see them, the facial expression of these people. It brings everything alive.
It's fantastic. It provides you a window to gaze into the life of the past.
Much of Chinese life and history is here, from the last days of the Qing dynasty to the start of the Communist Revolution.
This is actually one of the most crucial periods in the formation of modern Chinese history.
It is an era of tragedies and triumph. It really shaped what was to come.
Documenting all of this, I think, is hugely important. It has great historical significance.
Now, for the first time, we can share a lost China, preserved forever and for all on film.
The public are fascinated by what is going on in China, and yet China is a very long way away. It's not easy to go and dispatch your photographer and suddenly collect pictures of what's happening. So innovative and entrepreneurial characters around the country start to make their own films depicting on what might be happening.
This film shows the social changes in parts of China, particularly with regard to women.
The part of the modernity is the kind of new ideology, new freedom, or the concept of role of the woman and the way women are supposed to behave have seen fundamental changes. First, coming through the cities, obviously the Western influence really came. But I mean, there are, you could think of several examples, certainly in terms of in the area of education.
And so there were lots of those kind of mass education campaigns and the public health campaigns, rural health campaigns introduced by Chinese reformers, health advocates and Christian missionaries.
Others were more interested in the quaint, the exotic, and the country's heritage.
I absolutely love this film. The film itself is absolutely gorgeous portrayal of a canal town somewhere in southeastern China. Beautiful filmmaking, beautiful photography. Believe it or not, what you're looking at is a black and white film. This is a film that would have been shot on black and white film stock and processed as such. Film is an industry where audiences are always hungry for new content and new styles and new technologies, new methods of presentation. And the invention of stencil color was one way of satisfying audiences' desire for novelty. Stencils can be cut out and then applied by machinery to daub the colors in broadly the same places to simulate natural color.
These hand-tinted images were filmed in a place called Sanqiaopu. Long forgotten and yet better preserved at the BFI now is a record of China's first great national spectacle. The funeral of the founder of the Republic of China, Dr. Sun Yat-sen, who died in March 1925.
It was really interesting actually to see it. And this is the first public event in modern China. Sun Yat-sen's funeral was hugely important. It was very symbolic. It was in Imperial China, funeral position, although it's very elaborate, it's a private thing. It's only families are involved. And this one is public events. So you keep on seeing groups like school children, and there were lots of like officers, etc., etc. They were all walking in groups.
After 90 years lying in darkness, this historic footage only comes to light here now.
People greet each other asking, "Din Kao De Yang, have you eaten already?" While one's enjoying a meal, another might wonder if the prices will remain the same. But at least for a little while, one can take pause and savor what the city has to offer. CNA Bangkok.
This is Singapore Tonight.
Good evening, I'm Dawn Tan. Tonight's top stories. The first community vaccination centre for seniors opens tomorrow. The aim is to have one centre in every town here by end March. 3 in 10 businesses unsure if they can sustain for another 12 months. A survey finds they're hoping for more government boosts. A chance for better pay. Nearly 3,000 workers in waste management to benefit from a new progressive wage model. The Navy unveils a new maritime security flotilla. Armed ships are ready to tackle maritime security threats. Say hello to Simba. He's an African lion cub and a medical first for Singapore Zoo, conceived with the help of assisted reproduction.
I'm Steve Lai. In the region tonight, Indonesia becomes the first country in Southeast Asia to reach 1 million COVID-19 infections. And Hong Kong imposes an overnight lockdown in the Yau Ma Tei area.
I'm Elizabeth Niu with your Asia Business Update. Singapore